I finished reading Hitler's First 100 Days by Peter Fritzsche. Sorry if I mispronounced the last name wrong. And here's my book review. In Hitler's First 100 Days, Peter Fritzsche presents a disturbing account of how swiftly Germany transformed from a struggling democracy into a total dictatorship in early 1933. The book focuses on the short but critical period between January 30th and May 9th, 1933, revealing how Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party exploited political instability to consolidate power. Germany in the final years of the Weimar Republic was deeply, deeply fractured. Street violence between National Socialists, Communists, and Social Democrats had become increasingly common, like people dropping dead on the streets, creating an atmosphere of fear and instability. Fritzsche emphasizes that this constant political conflict weakened public faith in democracy and normalized violence as a political tool even before Hitler officially took power. This climate of unrest made it easier for the Nazis to justify extreme measures once in office. Almost immediately, thousands of individuals deemed political enemies, including communists, social democrats, and other opponents of the regime, were arrested and sent to early concentration camps. These camps were initially presented as temporary detention centers meant to restore order, but they quickly became instruments of terror and repression. Fritzsche makes clear that mass incarceration and political persecution were foundational to Nazi rule from its earliest days, not later developments. A central strength of the book is Fritzsche's detailed breakdown of the laws and policies enacted during Hitler's first 100 days. Among the most significant was the Enabling Act, which effectively suspended the German constitution and allowed Hitler to rule by decree. Reich commissars were appointed to take control of individual German states, such as Prussia and Bavaria, eliminating federal autonomy. The Nazis dismantled trade unions, seized control of local governments, and introduced laws that stripped German Jews of equal rights as citizens. Nazi brown shirts increasingly replaced the police force, embedding violence and intimidation into everyday governance. Political ideology and democratic debate were replaced by absolute loyalty to the regime. Fritzsche also placed a huge emphasis on the work of the radio and how it was a key opponent in getting people to listen to Hitler and him spreading his ideology. By the end of this brief period, the Nazis appeared to have laid firm foundations for what they claimed would be a 1,000-year Reich. Although history shows that the regime collapsed within 12 years, the speed and efficiency of its rise remains deeply unsettling. Emphasis on the deeply unsettling. Fritzsche's work powerfully illustrates how democratic systems can collapse from both internal conflict and authoritarian exploitation, serving as a warning about the consequences of political polarization, violence, and complacency. I give this book an infinity out of 10. I thought I knew just how bad it was. This is such an eye-opener to how politically unstable and how swiftly the National Socialists gained power and how quickly everyone was just swept up into the thrill of a new Germany. But also a lot of it was imposed by fear. So out of fear, a lot of people had to vote. But also at the same time, a lot of people willingly voted for the National Socialist German Workers' Party. I cannot emphasize enough how much everyone needs to read this book. Now, he writes a lot about personal testimonies and like first-hand accounts of people there and from what other historians have said about this period. So if you want like just a basic introduction to the Third Reich and its history, maybe you should go for a little something more aimed that way, because this goes based a lot on first-hand stuff. And it might be harder for newer readers to comprehend or just understand like all these people's names. But I say go for it. I absolutely just demolished the last 200 pages today. And I am just swept away by how amazingly written this is and how much I've learned.